All right, welcome to another episode of Ran Out of Talent. I'm Joe Zer Jr. With me is Greg Gerton and Kyle Holmberg. Kyle's new to this. Marshall's usually with us, but he got a free trip to Germany from Dave Beam for a Volkswagen deal, so I think Marshall definitely took the right decision, getting his rest before he goes to Germany instead of doing this podcast tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not big on VWs.
I love VWs. So let's jump right into this thing with the Minnesota MNRC results for the Duluth round. Let's start out with ProLite SCB B main. We usually don't cover B mains, but I'll tell you what, this was the best main of the whole weekend. Four-way battle for 15 minutes between Tim Sletton, Caden Hins, Alec Hins, and Chris Gosh. Caden and Alec were actually kind of working as a team against Tim a little bit. It's kind of funny. One would pinch off Tim while the other one would pass, etc., etc. Chris was in the mix really well too. The results don't show it too well because I think last lap or second last lap, it got a little bit separated. Still really close between Caden and Alec, about a tenth. But yeah, it was an awesome race in the SCBB main. 15 minutes of just pure action. And that's as close to spec racing as we have in any of the series we do, the summer series we do. Take away MMR spec / the closest we got is a ProLite at the MNRC. And it's been producing some great races. Let's hit the first A main. Sorry, that's Truggy B. It's tough to see in this directory. All right, ProLite SCB A main. Andrew Maury won this one. For most of the race, it doesn't look like it, but for most of the race, Corey Hins was on the tail of Andrew. And Corey just crashed in the wrong spot with like 2 or 3 minutes left to go. There's no Marshall there. Is right at the entrance of pit road. He caught a rut, flipped, and sat there for a long time. I was a little bit bummed out. So that made David Ohm actually catch up to him and almost pass him at the end for second, but David Ohm ended up third. Trevor Johnson fourth, Rob Logan fifth, and it's Chad Johnson, Daniel Kost, Rob Petrick, Tim Sletton, Caden Hins, Alec Hins, and Mackenzie Ohm rounded out the 12. It was a pretty good race in there. Then
So Tim bumped up and moved into 10th, huh?
yeah, Tim is a good driver. It's just tough putting together a full race to get. He's been BQing the whole season. Buggy A main, Tony Sletton won that one. Josh Ford and Seth Van Dalen both had problems. Josh, I swear we should have an award for most creative ways to break your car. Josh would win every time. He sheared a clutch shoe pin. I mean, how often do you hear that?
I think I did it the 1 year that I ran it.
Yeah, he sheared a clutch shoe pin. The thing about it is, he's doing that because he's so much on the throttle. It's not wear and tear, nothing. He's just constantly on horsepower. He's breaking a lot of stuff. Kyle here took second, lasted out the race. That's awesome. Seth took third, Tony Marks fourth, Tony Swenson fifth. Ryan Sopchek, I want to talk about him for a second. He ended up sixth. He flamed out 2 or 3 times, but he bumped up from the B main. He was in the B. He was started the weekend running an Associated car. Just got sick of it. So he bought a Mugen MBX7 at the track, and he was up till 1 or 2 o'clock in the night building it. Puts it on the track right away, thing is frickin' dialed. He went from like 25 5-second laps to, I think at the B main he had a 24-1. So I mean, he was just cooking, and his motor flamed on him 2-3 times. That's why he wasn't up there like you started up there. But hey, I mean that's breaks the nitro.
Did anyone in the A main ever have a good run, or did everyone flame out once?
Tony Slutton. Tony Slutton ran out of fuel once, right in pit road, I believe it was.
Even the winner ran out of fuel.
Ran out of fuel, didn't flame. But that's it was a different game Sunday.
So next time you're gonna set up your motor to just run nice and smooth, rich.
10-minute tanks.
Yeah, I barely didn't make the finish line there because Andrew like put in like probably 3/4 of a tank. That's all the fuel I had left in my gun. So like the last 6-7 minutes, I was at half throttle, quarter throttle, going down the street.
Yeah, he's probably telling you, take it easy, take it
He was
easy.
like every other lap.
I swear,
so-
every time we've talked about this all year, everybody's flaming out. It's like
I flamed
Josh
out going.
Ford is going to win all these drag races with these fancy motors, but you guys aren't finishing races.
Josh Ford didn't flame. Josh
Well, he
Ford's
broke this time.
Josh Ford's braking. That's that problem. Josh is braking interesting stuff that shouldn't be braking. Seth flamed twice, I think. Tony Marks flame. Everybody, Tony Swenson didn't flame. He finished 5th with
Hey.
that Serpent buggy.
We just need some better fuel management.
Yeah, fuel management. People got to start running better motors, tune their motors a little bit better. I mean, it's all a mix. Dan Williams broke. There's a lot of breakage. We ran the track different Sunday than we did Saturday. Saturday we tried running it dry.
That's never
100%
good in
dry.
Duluth, ever.
Yeah. Track fell apart like crazy.
It's dusty. It breaks apart.
Dude, we were blowing the track off every third race, and we couldn't keep the dust off of it.
The only way you can run. Yeah, you can't run the Duluth track dry.
It started to groove up, and then the groove chipped away and divoted out. So
Yeah, if you're gonna run Duluth in a summer day, there has to be some sort of treatment to it. Otherwise, at night, you don't have to worry. It's great because you can run it wet.
oh yeah, dude. We after the qualifying was done on Saturday, we watered it, and then when everybody was done running up, we drunk and watered it. The track was not ready to run on again until 9 o'clock in the morning when we started the mains. We watered it so heavily.
Yeah.
And we kept it blown off, and I really believe that's what saved that track, was pounding a little bit of moisture into it.
Oh, the track needs water. There's no doubt about it.
Water or calcium or wood glue, something. It can't be just ran dry. Yeah,
Not that one. I mean, you might be able to run some other tracks dry. That one's
not that one. So yeah, 4-wheel drive Sportsman A main. Zach Van Dalen won it. For a little bit, he was getting a little bit of challenge from Chad Johnson, but he kind of just pulled away, and that was it. And then Janelle taking 3rd, Caden Hins 4th, Brody 5th. Caden and Brody, I remember, were battling for that 4th and 5th spot. Caden finally got it off of him. Then as Sammy Michael 6th, Joe Lutz 7th, Alec Hins 8th, and Hesh Ash in 9th. Hesh was in a field of truggies with a 4-wheel drive 10 scale buggy. So then next, Nitro Truck A main. Let me tell you, the MNRC has great classes, but this one is a bummer. For half-hour racing, it's just too far apart. There's still close racing. You know what I mean? It's just, Trevor Johnson won it, no problem.
No, I loved running that class last year.
When I had a gas truck, I got a gas truck right when they became popular, probably back in I got it in 2000 because I got it for my 18th birthday. We were running them indoors at TCHR, which, we shouldn't have been doing it, but we did it. But it was fun because the track was a 10 scale track. It was a big 10 scale track, and that's the way it should be ran. But is just Trevor blew away Corey. Silver Bullet took third. Silver Bullet took third with a truck he hadn't ran since Chill on the Hill last October.
It's the first. Oh, I suppose that's his first Nitro Series race this year, isn't it?
Yeah. Darren took fourth, Rob Logan fifth, Chris Gosh sixth, Aaron Wozleski seventh, and Gary Pana eighth. Gary was flaming out. I don't think he ran his truck at the Motodome, I think.
I think he's still running the same motor he has for about 2 years now, so it's probably on the end of its life.
Yeah, I don't think he cares. I think he was just having fun running. Then the Pro 4s, really close battle in between. This is Pro 4A main number 1 I'm looking at right now. Josh Ford won that one. Tony Slutton pretty close in tow. Dan Williams ended up third in Pro 4A main number 1, only a second off of Tony Slutton. Nate Smith taking fourth. Nate just bought this Pro 4 midway through the season. It's his first electric vehicle ever, and I think he's enjoying it. I think he's enjoying the fact you just charge a battery and you go. Then it's Justin Hazy fifth with that new Techno. Then Tony Swenson sixth, Kelly Roberts seventh, Iggy eighth, David Ohm ninth, Joe Parent 10th, Corey Hens 11th, Mackenzie Ohm 12th. Then it's Rob Petrick 13th and Donnie 14th. Let's bring up a main number Pro 4A2 here. Pro 4A2. Well, that's a Pro 2 main. down. There you go. Then Josh Ford won that one by a little bit. He made it around for a 19th lap. Tony Slutton second, Dan Williams third again. Then it's Nate Smith fourth, Swenson fifth. And it is just, the top was basically the same. Pro 4 is doing very well at the MNRC. I wish I could get some of those numbers for the SSES. Because, I don't know, we'll talk about what I might have to do later in the show. Bring up the Pro 2A main. David Ohm won that one with some nice consistency. Trevor Johnson took second. Mackenzie Ohm third. Joe Parent fourth. I think that was Joe Parent's best run of the weekend. Justin Hazy fifth. Chris Malooly sixth. Joe Kippis seventh. And Darren eighth. Joe Kippis made the run all the way up from New Richmond. Now let's do the Truggy A main here. Josh Ford won that one. Tony Slutton in second, but that is a lot. They ended it with the 6-second gap, but it was a whole lot closer throughout that whole race. They battled. They got those Mugans working very well. Tony Marks took third with his Kyosho. Then Ryan Yunker fourth. Swenson fifth. Nate Smith sixth. What's funny is Tony Swenson and Nate Smith, they put together in the same trailer, and they have they write out a point series between the two of them.
Really?
Yeah. So it's just like a trailer race. So
That's cool.
So yeah, they have a little trophy. Right now I believe it's Tony Swenson's.
That adds a little fun to it.
Yeah. Donnie bumped up from the B with his budget truggy and ended up 7th. That was a really good run for Donnie Towell right there. Mike Bettison took 8th. Dan Williams 9th with the broken truck. Soapcheck 10th. He finished, but I believe he broke and then got going again. Van Dalen took 11th. He was out at the 13-minute mark.
His center bearing on his center diff actually froze up. And his L drive pulled out completely on the plastic housing.
Really?
Yeah.
When's he going to be old enough to work on his own stuff?
He does a little bit. I know he works on his 10 scales. There's a picture of it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to work well.
Yeah. The Mustache Man ended up 12th after leaving the track in 12 minutes. So, yep. I think two-wheel open A main here. Seth Van Dalen won that one. You TQ'd there, Kyle, but
No, actually Hunter did.
oh, Hunter TQ'd.
One thing that a
So
lot of
Lita
people
didn't even show up?
No,
He showed up.
he was there for Saturday, a lot of Saturday, but he was there to help with track maintenance and whatnot.
But he didn't race.
No.
Oh.
A lot of people are questioning is why we didn't blow it before the tool drive opened, and then for the main we blew it after. Compared to how qualifying was.
Yep.
Every single time we qualified, we always had a fresh blown off track, and then for the main,
Yeah.
we had a
And
complete.
you'd think with the small 2-wheel drive
Yeah,
cars,
someone
you would
would've
get
thought
the
of it.
blown off track.
Yeah. You know, honestly, I didn't even think of it when we were writing out the schedule. I just did every third race, every
Yeah.
third main. And that's the way. It sucks,
It
but
just ended
it's
up
it's
like
that
that.
second Pro 4A main that throws a cog in everything.
So, well, I'll wait till we're done here.
Seth Van Dalen won that. He didn't even qualify his car. He just threw it down for the main. Kyle here took second. Justin Sletton, good run from him in third. Kelly Roberts took fourth. Andrew Mowry took fifth. Chris Malooly took sixth. Robert Ponta seventh. Hunter Holmberg took eighth. I had to yell at Hunter.
You run your trucks or your buggies?
Me and Seth ran our buggies.
You did.
Yeah.
It was
That
a
must
good
have been a
buggy
long
track.
weekend for Hunter running one class and then breaking out
Yeah.
2 minutes into the main.
Dude, was it a ball cup or something?
I think he broke an arm.
Okay, because I saw his wheel
Triple.
hanging. I'm like, dude, what are... if it was a ball cup, man, he needs to get hit on the head.
He really does need to invest in some better ball cups.
He has a
but
2.0 coming tomorrow.
But he's been...
The plastic didn't change on their ball cups, though, did it?
Probably not.
No, the problem is he's been replacing them, but with TLR ball cups.
Yeah. That just
It's like, dude,
the way he drives is very aggressive and
Yeah.
hard. So he needs something that's. I mean, the stock ball cups work fine if you're going to drive like a pro, but if you're going to go around and
Yeah.
drive like a person who doesn't know that there's in between throttle points, then you need stronger ball cups.
you know what though? I say Hunter shouldn't change because you know what?
Oh, he's driving fast.
Yeah, it's been working
Yeah.
for him.
No, if
He can do that fast lap, but he can't put it together.
But if he can
he's
get
starting
consistent-
to.
But if he can get consistent by
Yeah.
doing that and keep pushing, that's
Yeah.
fine. So I'm not trying to say he's
Exactly.
doing something wrong, but he needs to address his driving style with ball cups that are going to work for that.
Exactly. Yeah, and another question is, what's happened to the kit ball cups? Like with the
They've
latest,
gone to crap. I'm sorry. Any way you look at it,
with
the
both Associated and Lowe's.
yeah, because what happens, the more if you take them on and off, they get
Yep.
they turn to mush,
Yeah.
and then they just pop on and off. You either have to replace them every single time you snap them on and off,
Yeah.
or you need to get a
Quality
different
ball
ball cup. I
Okay,
don't even
well,
want to say quality.
I-
A different ball cup that has a different plastic, like the old Losi style, you
Yeah.
can still buy, and
Dude,
they
I
work
love
fine.
those.
The Lunsfords have been absolutely gold for me.
I put
That's
the
what I have on
J
my truck.
I put the J-Cons on the 4-wheeler and they've been great.
I had trouble with J-Con.
Except
still.
for the new ones. Dave Duncan, he wasn't even running on them.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got the white ones on because that's all they had in stock.
I know. I remember last year Weta tried because he was having when he first got his B4.
Oh, I remember.
He had tons of trouble, and he tried the J-Cons as well, and he had struggled with them.
Yep.
I had reasonable luck with them, so I think they work. But you have to be. I think if you pop your diff
Yeah.
a lot, that's the one you have to kind of watch for.
Yep. And I think it's also the luck in the batch you get too. Because that plastic, the plastic, comes in pellets. They melt them, mix them, and then throw them in the mold.
In the end, I think you really have to if you're willing to deal with RPMs, they're tighter, and I don't like that personally.
No.
The Lunsfords, the plastic doesn't turn to mush,
Okay.
and then the old Losi's are just perfect.
Yep. Exactly.
So-
we used to put the old Lowe's on everything. All right. I think we still only have the 2-wheel Sportsman A main left here. 2-wheel Sportsman A main. Zach Van Dalen won that one. He drove pretty well. I mean, he's just about ready to graduate from that sportsman class.
Yeah, I had actually talked to Sean about that before, and the only reason you wouldn't move him up yet is to not get him into a position where he's gonna blow up and be put under a bunch of pressure. He's just a kid.
But
you can't
Zach-
push him just because he's doing well.
You can't push Zach though. he's like
You just have to wait. He has to mature. He's
no,
driving.
I
he's
mean,
getting
no, I
better.
mean you can't push him. I mean, he's got a way different mannerism than Seth, his brother.
Yeah.
The kid's happy. The kid's having fun. He doesn't care. He's driving toy cars and hanging out with his friends. That's the way he's looking at it, and that's the way you should keep looking at it until he hits a certain point.
Yeah. He needs to want to move up first.
Yeah,
And until
definitely.
that happens, it doesn't matter. And he's doing great.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
getting better.
The kid
I
can
say
drive.
let him go. He can drive. Yeah, no doubt about
Yeah.
it. When he concentrates and watches his car, he's good.
His Sportsman A main runs for 4-wheel drive with the Truggy would have put him in the basement of the A main, which is pretty solid. But him and his brother share
How
a
old
Truggy.
is he now?
9.
Yeah.
Just
that's-
turned 9. And you know what? Let him
That's good.
develop. Let's talk a little bit more about that. We didn't go through the results there though.
Well,
But yeah, Daniel Koss got a little bit of gave Zach a little pressure, but Zach won it. Caden Hins 3rd, Chad Johnson 4th, Joe Lutz 5th, Vicky Spicer 6th, Janelle 7th, Alec Hins 8th, Sammy 9th, Travis Howe 10th, Julia Van Dalen 11th, and Brody 12th. Julia qualified 4th. She's actually running Jaeger's colors.
so
So, it was what I'm liking about the Sportsman, 2-wheel drive Sportsman. We're getting down to the beat and deep into the beat.
that's good to see that you're getting that kind of turnouts. It's nice to see
Yeah,
some of the girls in there having fun instead of just being drugged with for the whole weekend watching.
yep,
So it is neat to see that.
Yeah. yeah. Danny's girlfriend's supposed to be running the next one. Yeah,
Is he even going to show up anymore? I see all these pictures of that dirt bike. I just can't imagine he's going to actually come to
he's
any more races.
gonna break something really fast. He buys a new bike and he breaks something really fast and he chills out for about a year. Hopefully it's not anything serious like he broke his femur once, I think his tib. His last one was a collarbone. I'll tell you what, for the MNRC weekend at Duluth, that's the first time I stayed at the track in a while. I slept in the announcer's booth. Nitro Series wives are evil, man. They're coming up to me, handing me shots and all that stuff. It's like, Janelle comes up to me, here, this tastes like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's like, oh, wow.
No fireworks in the buckets this year?
Oh, there was
No,
fireworks.
Trevor Johnson was doing Boone's Bombs.
Nice.
Yeah, that was, when he started doing them, I got, the fire pit's on one end of the track, the announcer's booth is on the other. When he started doing that, I kind of walked away. It was funny, after he's done, I'm old enough to know what can happen. Trevor goes, how old are you? 31. Trevor goes, I'm 31. Yeah, so
All right.
let's get
So
into
before
Iowa.
we move on,
Oh, before we move on, okay.
did the track ever groove?
No.
Not even a little.
It
It's,
did, but it broke away right away.
yeah. When we left it dry, it broke away the second it got rubber. It got heavy rubber, and then once it got the rubber, it broke away, and then you were back to dust.
So when we ran it for the SSES race,
Yes.
we were literally, the only issue was that it was bumpy.
Yeah.
And then after the
Did it
turbo,
ever smooth out? Or did it just
No.
rut out so
No,
bad
it
that
just
it was just
I think it
bumpy?
stayed the same.
It
I
stayed
don't
the
think
same.
It got any more rougher.
But the problem was you had the same tire wear, but without the traction,
Yeah,
and that kind of sucks.
I hate running on a dusty track. I really
you know
don't
what?
care about.
I can't wait for Chill on the Hill to see what they got for us.
It'd be nice to see if that track gets smoothed out a little bit, but
Yeah. Well, it sucks. Somebody stole their blade to smooth out the tracks. So.
well, they need to more than just the blade. That blade gets a little rough too. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
all right, so let's talk about Iowa. A bunch of us went to Iowa for the shootout down there.
I did
And,
not go because that was my first weekend off in months.
Yeah, you were a sissy, we know.
Yeah.
So
are a few other people though.
there were a lot of cancellations, and
Weed are canceled. Men are canceled.
yeah. So before we really get into the results,
Okay.
let's kind of talk through. We get down there. It's 100 degrees.
Yep.
We set up, and
It's beautiful up here.
we ran on the track and it looked
wasn't
like
at all what we expected.
it looked like an outdoor version of Starbuck, only worse.
Yeah, Lomi.
No, not
worse.
Lomi. Ruts. Holes.
Oh, ruts, holes. Ooh.
Broke away. Yeah, very, very rough. So it didn't leave expectations for Saturday to be very high.
Yep.
Although Saturday the track was great.
It was. It was complete turnaround, and they barely did any track work at all.
They did a lot of maintenance. They let us beat the crap out of it on Friday.
Yeah.
And then Saturday the track was beautiful.
Well, that's good.
And then of course Saturday night there was like torrential
We got this
downpour.
Friday storm. that everyone saw.
All of the
Yeah.
pop-ups are ripped up and thrown all over the place. The track, the guys are out in these boots up
Yep.
to their ankles in mud,
Yep.
and they basically it's some sort of lime.
It's lime.
They mixed
Concentrated lime. Or
they mixed
Okay.
lime into the track, which made the track a little bit slippery
Okay.
in places,
Yep.
but dried out the track, and we were racing on it by noon. 1.
Well, that ain't-
Noon,
that's
yeah.
not bad.
No, and this was the worst I've ever seen a track, and then ran it.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, the layout looked really nice from the pictures I saw.
The layout was really fun.
The only, like the front six pack was the hardest part.
Yeah, I heard they put a 6-pack in front of the driver's
Yeah,
stand.
that
I never agree with
especially
putting.
people standing up on blocks and people leaning over
That
the
was
rail.
something that I think we as a visitor struggled with because
Yeah.
so many people there stood on blocks, and it was grown adults standing
Dude,
on blocks.
It wasn't needed like people at wheel brokers where your
Yeah.
radio's right there at the rail where you have to stand on something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wheel brokers, you gotta. But if you're on a correct driver's stand, if you're over the height of 5'3", there is no need for you to stand on a block.
So, yeah, I think they got a little frustrated with us because I know Kevin really got on them
Yep.
about standing on the blocks, and they got really pissy and didn't want to get
A lot of
moved.
people don't
Kevin's
know
not
his
afraid to speak his mind.
No.
A lot of people don't know his real name. They're talking about Jabber.
Yeah.
He actually doesn't like that.
Yeah, we're,
Oh, he
we're,
doesn't like
we're
that?
correcting it. He's
Oh.
old enough now, aside from water being able to hold the pop-up down.
Yeah.
If you put apparently we found this out. If you put a
Actually-
pop-up in a 5-gallon bucket of water,
Yep.
it will stop it from blowing over.
Like,
I
that's
didn't
cool.
know that.
Don't need to strap it down or anything.
Yeah.
Just stick the leg
Just stick,
in water.
stick the leg in water, and apparently, it has some sort of friction or something that will prevent it from blowing away.
and the
It
gust
was
came.
amazing.
The gust came and it did not blow.
I'm gonna
away.
call him Lawyer Kevin from now on. man.
Lawyer Kevin is probably acceptable.
He's got to have he can't just be called Kevin. It's Lawyer Kevin or
Yeah.
Lawyer Banner.
Yeah, that'll work, I'm sure too. So,
So, yeah, it's a bummer about the pop-ups. I mean, I looked at the picture and it looked like $2,000 worth of
Oh, I
pop-ups
think
just gone.
seniors and mine are the only ones that didn't get destroyed.
yeah.
And what's funny is my dad's seniors is almost 10 years old now.
Yeah, and
that
mine's-
thing's been through hell.
Yours, you
Mine
just
was
need
in
a
really good shape. It was, it was
You
really
just
only
need
a
like
year
a-
old.
bar or two.
I need
Yours.
2 bars now
Yeah.
for mine, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can you order parts?
Well, I looked, and I know I can, but they want to like replace whole sides, not just the one bar.
Yeah.
So I got to keep looking. I'm sure I can find one somewhere. I just haven't yet. So kind of the rundown on the track. It definitely wasn't like for those guys that have gone to Spectrum.
Yep.
Really wasn't to that kind of quality.
It wasn't ran to what we thought it was going to be ran like.
Yeah, and there was no. This is something they talked about today in the thread. Was they? It seems like they're very proud of the fact they did it without a race director.
Yeah.
They're very proud about the fact it was all volunteers, and I agree. It's very impressive that they did that with that many entries. The problem I see is that with that many entries, we were expecting.
Quick. Bang, bang.
Well, we were
bang,
expecting
bang.
a more professionally run.
Definitely.
Especially when
race.
main started, or the qualifying started. We had an hour delay because they couldn't get the computer to work.
Yeah, and they
They
kept
need-
overheating. Then we ran into the delay because they were having trouble, I think, setting things up.
Yeah.
They had to have Alex go over there and help, and
Yeah.
then they had trouble with the overheating.
And I
we
bet-
ended up with 2 hours of delays just getting running, and then we weren't that efficient between rounds with the resorts getting anything
Yeah.
posted. The other thing, not having, I mean, the guy that did the announcing, yeah, he did it for free, I guess, and he was a volunteer.
Yep.
But you know, he wasn't. He was fine at announcing. The problem was he didn't do a great job of announcing
He didn't
the
call
leaders.
leaders or
You
traffic.
didn't know where people were
Yeah.
on the track.
See, a lot of people don't realize this. unless you're natural, because there's naturals with everybody in every skill aspect in the world. Unless you're natural, that is something that you got to learn throughout time, and something that, as an announcer myself, I've been working on: calling traffic, calling the leaders, letting people know how much time's left, letting people know their pace throughout the whole grid, not just the top two. I mean, you got to be on the ball.
Yeah. I basically, when I'm racing, I want to know exactly what the computer screen looks like. I really don't care about anything else.
Dude, when I first started announcing, I was afraid to look away from the computer screen if I would miss a mislap or something like that.
I want to know. I want to know the person in front of me. I want to know the
And how
person
far
behind
they
me.
are.
I want to
Yep.
know where they are.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
think
like-
once in the AMA they said the distance between me,
No.
you, and Dave, or Mason Fuller, who's a second.
Even
grader.
though we had, relatively close racing, at least in the beginning, until we really hit traffic, and then
Yep.
it just went to.
Crap.
But, it hey, when you're Dave Duncan, man, the seas part like you are John Wida.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, definitely.
one thing with Dave, too. First time I have ever met that guy,
Yeah.
what an incredible person to have out there as a sponsored guy. I mean,
Yeah.
he doesn't stop smiling from sunrise to sunset.
It's not only smiling, telling jokes, and
telling
laughing.
jokes,
Yeah.
laughing, having fun at the track. I mean, he is like, when you hear about people that are sponsored,
Yeah.
or you hear about, and I think he's beyond sponsored. I mean, I believe he's a paid employee
He,
as well.
he was sent out there
Wow.
by JCon.
Yeah, he's just so much fun to be around
Yeah.
and listen to and talk to, and he doesn't take things personally. He's just out there having fun, racing. What really a great guy to be around and race with. So that it would be. I have heard. I believe he's coming to an on-road race for Brandon Skews.
Oh, Brandon's. That'll
so-
be cool.
Brandon actually showed up Sunday.
Yep.
Yeah,
so,
well, Brandon, he wanted me to come down and help with the computer and stuff. I'm like, and I literally
well, they
said,
probably wouldn't even let you there. So
they don't know me, but Brandon, I go, they don't have the money to pay me to do that because it
No.
was my weekend off. And Brandon goes, how about my Excite Bike arcade game? I'm like, oh, man.
Oh, you should have been down there. We
Uh,
could have strapped that to the back of the trailer. And
Dude.
we had plenty of room.
Dude, there are only a couple arcade games that are must-haves for me. Excite Bike is one of them.
Yeah. So, back to the race. It was a great, fun race to go to.
It was a very good experience.
It was a blast
Yep.
to go hang out. We had a pretty good turnout of Minnesota racers.
Yep.
I don't know if you remember everyone that was there from
I remember
Minnesota.
a lot,
You
yeah.
run
Well,
through.
we can run through the A-mains and whatnot. And
So
but yeah.
we had a good turnout. We had 3 people just even in the stock A buggy.
almost 4.
So,
I heard my dad almost.
Your dad was right at the bottom. So it really was cool. I would recommend going there, but only if they actually get a race director next year. It's not.
I'm available, guys.
Yeah, it's not.
Contact me for info.
It's not the type of thing. I mean, they did a great job promoting it. Chile does a great job getting everything together.
Yep.
But if you're gonna spend the money that we spent to go down there,
Yeah.
you really gotta.
That was at least $500-600 a person
That
from
was
up
before
here.
we even went there. And then when we
Yeah.
got down there, all the tires we came there with, never.
Yeah,
none
we
of
get
them
down
worked.
there and we find out that really the best tire the night of practice was Ifmar pins,
Oh man.
which I didn't buy any of.
Yeah, you
You're
don't think
paying
of
$20 a pair though.
I did to get them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I walked around the pits and offered people $20 a pair to get Ifmar pins.
And then come Saturday, you only use one pair. And mains, you didn't use the rest of them.
well, and then as we're running the main, Alex was talking to me, and he said that he actually found out that his worn out Ifmar pins were
Yep.
better.
Yeah.
And I had put a brand new set on and they
Yeah.
were skatey.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool that Alex Sturgeon came, but that's got to be a bummer for him because he's the race director at Hobby
He was
Plat.
just happy not to be doing the race directing.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just.
So-
I mean, like when I go to a race and I'm there just to race, I literally keep my head hunkered down, and if they really need help, I'll go help, but I rarely ever get to just go race, especially in the summer.
I don't think he minded helping because he didn't have to run the program.
Yep,
So I think that's the big thing. But so I mean, yeah, the track part. I know your dad was pretty upset about just really the way the surface worked out.
Yeah.
He's upset about that, and he's upset with the program, and
Yeah.
he's just still upset. Well, and another thing, my grandpa, my dad's dad, died Saturday night.
Yeah, and that
We
is
heard
So
about
that was
yeah.
that was a little
So-
bit rough, made things a little bit more rough too. So
But you know, in the end, if they got a race director, I would go back
yeah,
because it's close enough. It's a big race.
4-hour drive.
Yeah, good competition.
Oh,
Lots
yeah.
of people from around the country show up.
Yeah.
A lot of Midwest drivers, a lot of guys that go to like the Spectrum race, things
Yeah.
like that. So that part was fun, but I would definitely verify that there was a paid announcer before wanting to go back next year.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
def-
at least a set person to make decisions.
Yeah.
No, not you need one person at a computer. It's too tough. And we're gonna. I added another topic here while you guys weren't looking, but we'll talk about that when we get to the torque section because you got to be right on the computer if you're,
Yeah.
to keep things flowing. Everybody's got a different flow.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the results a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of
let's-
get moving on.
yeah.
I drug out the beginning there, but I wanted to make sure because going into this race, no, I don't think as many of us really knew what it was like
Or what to expect.
or
Yeah.
what to expect.
Like the track, what to expect there, and then
Yeah.
results where we're going to face.
If
with
anyone
everyone
goes
else.
next year, you want to bring red IFMAR pins, which apparently they're not making anymore.
you
So
want to put them in your cart now.
you might
Yeah.
want to buy a couple now. Yeah. And then
they call them something different now.
no, they canceled all Losi tires.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, they're done making tires.
Huh.
So
What about the Schumacher mini pin or mini?
No,
Yeah,
not
mini
right
pin.
compound.
No, they got a new compound.
maybe
Green.
if they come out with a new
Schumacher did?
compound for
It's green.
dirt, maybe.
I don't know. That's supposed
Or
to be their
Proline's carpet tire, maybe they'll make that into solid.
Yeah,
or something.
Proline's
Yeah.
carpet tire. If they made that in a M4
Did
or an
anybody
M3,
try flip outs?
yes,
A
I
few
did,
people were.
and they did not,
not work?
anywhere close to
Okay.
the
'Cause
IFMAR pin.
a lot of the times when it's a little loamier or a little dustier and it's IFMAR pin track, I usually find a flip out works a little better, but I guess IFMAR pin was
No.
the tire.
Here's the other thing with the tires, though. The tasers worked very well, but you had to be very careful because you could rip the pins. So they looked like they're brand new,
Yeah.
but the bottom, the pin ripped away from the carcass.
Oh!
So like 3-4 runs on practice Friday night.
We think there's no tire wear.
Yeah. And all of a sudden Jabber comes up to us, or Kevin comes up to us, and says, "Look at the pins. They're rolled over like hole shots do sometimes."
So that was new. I was a little, that's concerning. You got to kind of one run or run them one way and then reverse them.
Yep.
So you got to be real careful with that. And then when the track got better, like towards the A's,
Yep.
we ran impacts and they were a little slick, but they were faster.
Impacts were the fastest third round of qualifying when once
Yeah,
you started
okay.
to come up.
So and even in the mains, I think they were
I
probably
saw some
better.
people had some big lugs.
Oh, they.
Step pins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything.
You saw just about every tire there. It's a black.
Yeah.
It's a true black dirt track. If you
I
go
love
there,
black dirt.
you're running off road. It's gonna
Yeah.
be bumpy. It's gonna be an off road track, and it can be fun. But you got to be prepared. You got to have your mindset for that.
Dude, I dig any kind of dirt. I dig blue groove, high bite, low bite. What I don't dig is if you're racing the track instead of the person next to you.
Yeah, and it wasn't that
It wasn't
bad
that
in the
bad.
racing. On
Yeah.
Friday, it looked like it was going to
Yeah.
get that bad.
Yep.
Especially going to the 6-pack where even a mod car was having a tough time to do the first.
That's one thing too, man. You can't put a 6-pack, anything
I
difficult in front
actually
of the
think the
driver's
six
stand.
pack was okay.
Yeah.
What I disliked was the up down
at
in
the
front of the
very end.
driver's stand on the right.
Oh.
Because if you were standing on the left of the driver's stand, you'd lose your car.
Oh,
For
I
a
got
good
you.
second. at
Yeah.
least.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there were a couple times you can actually watch the videos online, and I stand on the left of the driver's stand. There's
Yep.
a couple times I lost my car and drove straight because
Yeah.
I couldn't see where the car was.
Yep.
Like if you watch a stock buggy man, I go straight. I go so wide for the next corner because I can't see my car.
Yeah.
So I don't want to turn and lose traction,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden I'm in the tube, and I don't know where
Yeah.
where
So
I
you
am.
gotta be pretty careful with that.
Yep. All right. Let's go through a couple of results here.
I mean, really, right off the bat, stock buggy. We got the TQ here.
Yep.
Kyle
all
took
three
TQ.
rounds.
Yep, all 3 rounds. We
Dave
went.
almost had the second round, but He made one mistake and that
Actually,
just,
I got
Almost
second.
only counts with Hank.
you almost got second round.
No, I got second in both first and second round.
Almost only
That's
counts
how I
with
got
hand
second
grenades
overall.
Also.
Well, I mean, Dave almost got TQ the second round of stock buggy. He was in the lead, and then he made a mistake, and then
Oh,
you
maybe he
got
made the
past him.
mistake because
Yeah.
I got 2
Yeah.
overall the
So
second
what
round.
motors were you guys running?
I was running on a D35,
Okay, what were you running?
I started with the kill shot and moved to the D35.
and then third round, his end belt actually fell off.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I had a fast. We were set for a pretty fast
Yeah.
run.
I set a pretty fast lap.
We took out it. Actually, I don't think that any of that's on there. But that first lap, we ran away.
Yeah.
Just in one lap, we ran
Yeah.
away a couple seconds.
We were on it.
But we were on. I mean, we had the ideal situation. We had
Super soft
impacts.
impacts.
We were ready to go.
Cool, cool.
And then my NPEL started. My whole motor started grinding. Really funny. And-
Down the six pack, and then all
Yeah.
of a sudden it fell off going up the uphill.
Yeah,
Whatever.
so that didn't work out. So we ended up qualifying 1-2,
Cool.
and Kevin ended up
Sixth.
qualifying 6th, huh?
Yep.
Yep. Well, that's
Yeah.
pretty good for him too, you know.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, to get 3 in there, and I think your dad was, he ended up 3rd overall in the B.
Okay, so that would be 13th.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what he qualified, but he
stock-
finished there.
Okay, well we'll see if you scroll down because your car number
Yeah.
is your
Yeah,
qualifier.
no, I got you. I just got to get back up to it. Though.
No, I hear you. I hear you. And that's one thing cool about stock buggy that I've been seeing in the Super Saturday Electric Series too. It's been bringing some really close drive races and whatever. So let's see, modify. That's mod buggy.
Stock. Here we go.
He ended up second in the
so
B.
12th.
Yeah, so he ended up 12th overall.
Nice.
And look at the time for the winner of the stock buggy B main. He was at 16:5:18. Now scroll down to the A. The A main, you guys, I saw 16s in there. 16:5:18. So he would have been good enough for. You're still-
1 sec here.
you're
Sorry.
scrolling slow. He would have been good enough for fourth. So the winner of the B would have been good enough for 4th in the A with the time he ran.
And that's ignoring traffic and all the
Well,
other
yeah.
things that happened because I had quite a bit of traffic. You look, I'm 5th
Yeah.
overall. I
You-
got the fast lap and the top 5.
Yeah, you got pwned.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then coming into the stock buggy, hey man, I had radio issues when you were
Yep.
checking
And,
in.
oh, there's no doubt that if you wouldn't have had radio issues, because that really hosed us both, because
Yeah.
I didn't want to take you out.
Yeah,
and you were slow.
Spectrum.
And you were slow
I was
because
so
of the
slow,
radio.
like the first
minute
minute
two.
at least.
Yep.
Yeah.
What
Couple
kind were you
corners.
using?
A DX3R.
Oh, I mean,
No.
what kind did you switch to? For the
Same
mix?
Same thing, but
thing.
it had a different size wheel.
Yeah.
Which if you
wheel
ever
was
switch
bigger.
wheel size,
Yeah,
The
Dude,
throttle had
horrible.
no shrink wrap on it, and the grip was a lot smaller.
When I had a DX3R, my wheel was so small that I put a 12 scale front donut on the wheel.
Yeah. So stock buggy, I mean, when we went down there,
Yeah.
Kyle and I were saying, hey, we just need to make the A. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the biggest
And
class
then
they
after
had
first-
down there.
First run, we were 1 and 2.
Yeah, 1 and 2 for both the first 2 runs.
Yep.
I don't think we made one mistake
Yeah.
in the qualifying, but other than that, we were pretty clean.
And I
all
think,
day.
yeah, we kept the cars pretty good, and well, we kind of worked off each other with setups and things
Yeah.
like that too, and it went
Well, yeah.
really well for us. So
Dave-
that was fun.
Dave Duncan won it though.
He
Yeah,
did.
he did.
And if I ever get a chance to race him again, we'll look forward to that. He's a fun guy to race with, so it's hard to be mad that you lose to a guy who
Yep.
is that good
He
too.
was so nice off the stage.
Yeah, oh, and he's so nice. Yeah,
Yeah. Mason
So-
Fuller took second. I don't know who Mason is.
he's a little kid.
Yeah, he's
Little
like
kid.
a second grader.
Yeah.
He had me on Facebook yesterday.
Yeah.
He
Nice.
was looking at qualifying. He was right there, a second off
Yep.
me, 2 seconds off you.
Yeah, we
One round.
ended up we
He
had
was there the whole weekend.
we had 3 to 4 seconds I think on him in qualifying.
Yeah.
That's
on-
the
on
future.
both
We're
of
the
them.
elderly.
So,
Oh, you
but
should
he's
win.
already JCon sponsored.
Yeah. That's cool.
I remember talking to Dave about that, so that was cool. One of the other things here, I don't know if I can find the results. Kevin did win the truck.
He got second place.
He got second place overall behind Dave and won the X Factory truck
Oh,
in
okay,
stock
cool.
truck.
Cool.
So
Didn't they have X Factory buggy too?
they did,
Yeah.
and both of us missed out on that
Yep.
because of
The kid won.
wonderful things. The kid did win it though, so
well,
that was
good
awesome.
for him.
So you look the results for the stock truck. He was a bit behind
Yep.
Dave.
Yep.
But he actually, if you look at him, he had fast lap, he had top 5. He just didn't have the consistency overall in the whole race.
Yep. That's
And
what
some
you
of that could
really
be-
need in stock.
Some of that could be the C's party.
Yeah.
For Dave. So
Yeah. You know
everybody there knew who Dave was,
You know what?
and that definitely was an advantage.
Dude, there's team driving wherever you go, too.
But it was just an advantage.
It wasn't
there.
team driving; it was everyone.
Everyone
Except for us
recognized him.
Minnesota
Okay, yep.
guys.
So it wasn't.
Well, and it's really tough when you don't have a race director calling traffic.
and
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest thing.
Like going down the straightaway, Dave got past traffic, and then after the camel hump or whatever you call it,
Yeah.
we get hit traffic, and I try to go on the
Yeah.
inside, and I tube it.
Yeah, and you know,
Doesn't get
it's
all the
like
way.
that's sometimes it's tough for a race director to call traffic. Like even Sean Van Dalen will come up behind me. He's like, "Dude, call traffic a little bit more." It's like, "Oh yeah, you're right." And you know, every once in a while you need a reminder.
What was surprising, we were the only ones calling traffic on the stand, like saying leader. let me
Leader,
by.
yeah, you
Yeah.
had to say leader behind these guys. They just didn't recognize you. They didn't know who
Yeah.
you were.
Even in A-Main or like third round of qualifying when we resorted,
Yeah.
no one knew what to do.
So, anyways,
Um,
yeah. So
yeah.
that's stock.
So,
Anything special about
We
mod?
we did. Kyle ended up making the mod 4-wheel or 2-wheel buggy.
Oh, yeah.
You qualified
Eighth.
8, but you only ended up only finishing 9. That was a really pretty stacked class.
Your
When the
stock
leader went
buggy
by,
is
I just
faster.
let the next 5 or 6 people.
It was a
go
stacked
by.
class.
How was your
though.
stock buggy faster though?
It was, but you gotta count on traffic. It's just
Traffic.
hard.
Did the track deteriorate too?
It wasn't the track deteriorating. It was more
Okay.
close racing and
Okay.
people racing each other, not letting each other by. That slowed you down.
Got you.
So he ended up doing great in mod buggy. I was in the I don't know. I think I finished like 3rd in the B or
Yeah.
4th in the B, something like that.
Yeah. Alex Sturgeon won it.
3rd because I got one of those awards.
Yeah, Alex Sturgeon won it, so that's good for him.
Yep, 4-wheel buggy or 4-wheel buggy.
I think my dad was in the.
They were everybody was in the B, and
Yeah.
we actually had quite a few from Minnesota in the B on that.
I wish I could have. I wish I could have been there just to squeak in the A to say, "Hey, Dad, I beat you."
You know, your dad definitely didn't have. We worked on him a little bit with his car, but he was having trouble.
man. He needs a new car.
Yeah.
I'll say it again. He needs a new car. If I can get Brian Post's B44.2, because he's not an off-road guy. He always buys a car and he always sells it. His car is fresher than mine. So I'd buy his car and then give my dad mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Kelly Roberts' caster broke on him.
So we ended up with Josh Sinclair winning the B.
Yeah,
with
he
the
actually
Schumacher.
his car looked really good. He got better throughout the weekend.
Schumachers have great four-wheel drive cars because they are belt drive. That is so awesome. It's so underrated for an off-road vehicle.
Your dad finished 3rd in the B.
Yeah. Bill Dahlgard looks like he finished 6th. He probably had his Durango.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you guys know Bill Dahlgard?
Yep.
Okay.
I have met him there.
He
I'll
raced
tell
at
you what.
Lamar a little bit.
Okay.
I've been racing with Bill Dahlgard on and off since I started racing. He actually sold me my first BMX bike back in 1989. It was an original PK Ripper. And that thing was the bomb. I actually sold the frame and fork for that thing for $425, and the seat post was welded back on his. So, yeah,
Cool.
no, I've known Bill since I started racing. So is my dad. He's an awesome guy to hang out with.
Your dad actually met a bunch of guys he used to race on road with.
Oh yeah. I'm sure Peck was there. I'm sure Mike Mertz stopped by. Yeah, a lot of the Iowa guys that used to run the Heart of America Nitro on road now run off road in Iowa.
Yeah.
So
the other one that we had, where we had a little bit of showing, Kyle and I both made the A
Yep.
with mod truck.
cool.
Kyle actually qualified far better.
Only by it too.
I barely squeaked in there in number 10, but then
Hey.
I did finish 7th. Had a fairly clean run with very loose tires.
You're behind David Fast. That's pretty good.
So it was very loose tire situation. I was running those M4 hole shots, and I
Oh.
definitely should have been on M3s.
And
I
like the
think.
wet,
Really?
there's one corner that was wet, wheelie power out of the corner, and then in like the part where they put down a bunch of lime, Most of them can beat.
The lime really made the mains challenging
Yep.
because it was just you lose a little bit of traction there where you would have had it the day before.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
That's where like the buggy. I wish we would have had the AAA's.
Yep.
Yeah.
It would have been really cool to see how we could have finished
You
with the
wouldn't have been
AAA's.
home yet.
We probably wouldn't have. You're right.
We would have came home with a X Factor.
We
car
would have
maybe.
had an X Factor
Yeah.
probably though in the car.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
of the two of us would have walked away with that X
I
Factor.
really want to try out that new one they got. I just can't spend the money right now.
I
It's
kind
al-
of told them
it's-
that actually.
It's almost on-road season. you know?
I basically said, I'm trying to win that car. They just kind of
If
smiled.
I would have won that, I would have pretty much paid for my whole weekend if I would have
Oh,
won.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
won another team to me a buggy.
He won a Tamiya.
like-
You want a Tamiya?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I
like
won't-
10 minutes later, I sold it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, the Tamiya's a good buggy. There's absolutely zero support for that, so you did the absolute right thing.
It
there.
wasn't a new one either. It was
Oh,
like
really?
an old plastic B4.
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
the wannabe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Good to see Rod Rippey in the top 3. I used to race with him back in the day. He's a real
Really?
nice guy. Yeah. Yeah, I know David Fast.
See, I knew David and I knew Alex in there.
Yeah.
Alex,
Other than
yeah.
that, I didn't really recognize any of the other guys.
Yeah. That's about all I recognize. So, are there any other A's?
That was it. So that was
That's it.
pretty much Minnesota racing that I'm aware of. Well, Kelly Roberts, I think, ran a 4-wheel something.
Yeah.
didn't
Pro
he?
4.
Pro 4.
Pro
Yeah.
4.
He
I don't
ran
know
the
how he ended
caster.
up with that.
Well, let's find him.
So,
We got the results up.
It's
Oh.
lower.
I mean,
but I have no idea what he
Right
was
there.
in.
Yep. Kelly Roberts is doing. He must.
He
have been
didn't
in
make
B.
the A. Yeah.
He's doing great things with the caster. That's all I gotta say about that.
So that's
I-
the one that sponsored Josh Sinclair last year, right?
Yep, and Kelly Roberts and Kurt Roberts are still sponsored by Caster.
Hmm.
But I think they get such a good deal, they say, hey, why the hell not? You know?
Yeah, I suppose if you can get a good deal on it.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yep. Okay, where
He
He
finished,
finished
fourth.
fourth,
No, fifth.
fifth. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like he was the first one a lap down.
So he was he started 4th, finished 5th.
Yeah.
Um,
And that Caster Pro 4 was his ace scale nitro buggy,
Yep.
you know, dumbed down to
Yeah.
a Pro 4.
So the big key here, don't forget, if you're going to go next year, make sure they have a race director.
And again, you talk to me and I'll
And-
see what kind of deal I can hook you up with.
Double D's were not the ticket at all.
Yeah, tire wise, you really would, if you can't find the pins, you'd have to do, I think, a taser and an impact.
Yep.
Did anybody try original hole shots?
With
Or hole shot 2.0s?
no, we
No.
didn't in buggy.
Because the hole shot 2.0, when I tried those when they first came out, they had grip, but they were lazy.
I have yet to find a track where I thought those hole shots worked, and I think that's why they came out with a taser.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think the pins were too close together with the 2.0.
The double D's, Dave, I think, thought they worked
Yep.
late in the day or at night.
Yeah.
But at that point, I think the impacts were so much better that it didn't matter. I think you really got to make sure that you
Yeah.
stock up on the tasers and probably bring a set or two in impacts.
Yep, I'm just glad the Minnesota guys did well.
It was neat to see, a few of us get up there in the A's.
This weekend, like I was really starting to think about going down to help out because Brandon said he would have gotten me in to help out or whatever.
Yep.
But then my father-in-law had a heart attack,
Yeah. I heard.
and Beth had to go all the way to Manitowoc, Wisconsin. So she was there from early Saturday morning to late Sunday night. I had the kids, and I was really happy to stay home and just spend the weekend with the kids. I mean,
Yeah.
that was awesome for me.
Cool.
So next up, Pro Karts. We did one deal
Yep.
at the Burnsville track. We got about 10 guys from the RC world to come and do Pro Karts. And it was really fun. And we're planning again on September 18th. I might try to reserve the track and I'll make a post up on RC Tech. But the problem was we were basically doing one lap racing out of an 8-minute run.
Yep.
It only gave you your results for your best lap. So we're gonna do the race package, which costs about the same as the 3 runs we
I think
did.
it's like $2 or $3 more, but they set
Yeah.
it up in a race format.
Yeah, you do qualifiers and a main.
So if you don't drive like Hunter, you might do better.
Yeah.
Well,
Hunter had
still wasn't.
he had a
wasn't fast,
disadvantage. He had a disadvantage.
Huh.
But yeah, I am
But
definitely gonna go on a severe wrestler's diet.
Oh gosh, we're going on weight.
Keeping
now.
up with the kid.
Dude, well, Kyle and
Blake.
Blake Lambert were the fastest. Kyle weighs 170. Blake weighs 140.
You're 170?
Yeah.
What do you think
Crap.
I was?
Maybe I don't have to go on much of a diet.
Blake weighs 140. I weigh 210. You know, and
I'm only
weight
185. I got 15 pounds. I used to do that overnight.
yeah, weight does make a difference. I mean, I can't. I mean, a lot of my driving was a little off. You know, I could tighten it up here, get on the gas earlier there, but
I've never done the pro carts. That's,
Oh, dude,
It's
it's
not
fun.
much weight disadvantage. It's more of your technique on when you're gonna hit
That's
the
true.
brakes, the line you takes.
Yes, the
Not
more
the
you
slide.
weigh, the more you weigh, you got to do things differently. And I was trying to do things like Kyle and Blake, and I can't. The pro karts are definitely a fun time. I had my GoPro going,
So what's the price then gonna be
about $50-$60.
For 3 races.
for 3 races?
Yeah.
And they're gonna actually break them out into heats.
Yep.
And it'll be only us, our group,
Yep.
racing on the track.
See, everybody thinks that's a ripoff, but dude, you have so much fun. You always want more.
Huh.
I mean, serious. It's
Oh, that sounds cool.
yeah. It was really cool.
Wait, are
And-
you gonna do it at Burnsville again?
Yeah, we're gonna do it at Burnsville because most people have a membership there.
What can you get for a membership?
It is like 20 some bucks.
20 a year, 25 a year for a
Yeah.
year.
And then what do you get?
Or
You get a
it's-
deal or?
You
You
get a free birthday race. You get deals on your normal 8-minute run, stuff like that. Actually, you have to be a member now of some sort to race there.
Okay.
You can take your week member for $10, or your year member for $25.
Okay.
I wish I would have taken the year. I wish I would have called an upgrade.
So
but-
now you're gonna do basically for 25. So
Yeah.
this time, in order to go and do the race with you guys, you would have to pay the 25.
Yes.
Or this.
But
weight
what
thing.
sucks is we wanted to go in between tracks, and
It's different owners.
it's
and you
different
don't need-
owners now. It used to be the same owners between Burnsville and Maple Grove, so
And
your
Blake.
membership.
Do they ever change the layouts?
Yes.
Yeah.
We could actually tell them what layout we want.
Yeah, we could
We
do an
know
oval.
that. Yeah. We
Really?
get an oval night.
Yeah, well, I
Next week
want.
we could
Yeah,
change it to something.
That's
else.
kind of cool then.
yeah. It's not hard for them to change the layout. I mean, it's basically a giant carpet track
with tires.
with tires
No.
in the center holding the barriers.
That's awesome. So that's going to be September 18th, and I
Yeah.
believe you said that's a Wednesday.
Yeah, it's a Wednesday. That's a Wednesday after the Super Saturday final race, and it's gonna be tough getting people there because the new Grand Theft Auto comes out the day before.
Oh darn!
Dude,
I missed that.
I might take
That's
I might
bad.
take that Tuesday off just so I get my
That's-
time in.
That's so hard. I'm gonna
Dude,
have to
you're
miss
not
my
a Grand
video
Theft
game.
Auto player, but you know what? You're talking about
It's just
wanting
like
to design a video game. Guess what? You want great pointers? Play Grand Theft Auto because they've been getting so deep in the storyline lately.
No, I just like
And
shooting
you're-
people.
No, see, you gotta get away from that. Like,
No, I don't.
Like the original Grand Theft Auto
Ghost?
4.
Yes.
Dude,
Ghost.
did you play
Rainbow
Grand
Six.
Theft Auto 4?
I played San Andreas on the PS2.
San Andreas was a good story, and that was
Call
the
of Duty,
biggest
Halo,
map ever.
Gears.
Yeah.
That had an okay storyline, but Grand Theft Auto 4, that storyline was deep, and you got engrossed, and you wanted to keep going and see what Nico Bellic was doing. You know, they got a writer for it this time, and they just weren't making up stuff as they go. It was an awesome game with an awesome plot, and I think 5's going to be like that too. So yeah, hopefully. But anyways, a listener request: less classes. I
We've
kind
of
agree
talked
with
about this a little bit, even I think in some of the previous podcasts.
Yeah, I kind of agree with it.
Yeah, I do too. I think anywhere you can shorten the day as far as like a
I don't even care about that
Well,
anymore.
It's where you can take out a class and add like the 6-minute heats instead of doing 5
Well-
or 4.
Yeah. Well, here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at those guys running these short course vehicles in my, like, short course is doing great in the MNRC except for Pro 2. Keep going there. Next year, I might kill all short course classes or just have one short course class. Because guess what? It's no fun having 3 or 4 people in a race. You know what? They should buy a different vehicle that suits them better and go race it. I would like to see bigger classes.
Yeah, I think that's
with
another one.
Yeah.
Is you with having too many classes, you run into
Shortages.
shortages. Where you go down, to Iowa, and all of a sudden we had 40 stock buggies. Or
And I'm trying to do anything I can to increase numbers in other classes. Like this year, I'm giving away, I'm paying the winner of each class for the point series, I'm paying for their first race all next year.
Hey, so do I get that in stock buggy then?
You should, unless something drastically happens with the points. I don't think
I don't understand how. I only,
Right now, you got a 10-point lead with 2 throwouts.
yeah, but even
But
if,
you only have a 6-point lead with the 5 you got. If something drastic happens, I don't know if you could lose it, but
he can't win.
no, he can't win. But
And-
my
and your
dad's in
dad,
second,
even
6
if he
points
wins,
back.
I don't.
Something could. I don't know what could happen, but something could happen there.
I guess.
But no, I'm pretty sure you got that locked down. I'm pretty sure you do.
I didn't realize you were doing every class. For some reason, I thought it was just mod truck and.
I'm doing every
buggy.
class appointed out. So
Okay.
that is coming out of my pocket. Pro 2's already pointed out with John Hutner. He's the only one who can win. Pro 4, the only one who can win there is Tim Brown, and he's planning on making the last race. But dude, that's lame. There's no battles. I'm going to make good with my, I'm paying for your first entry with those guys, definitely.
Does it have to be that class that you won for your first entry? Like
No,
say you're
no. You can have any class. Any class. It doesn't matter. As long as you point out in that class you could switch from Pro 2 to Mod Buggy, I don't care. But dude, I gotta do something. Or maybe I could run all the short courses on one track like they do at some of the, real races.
It's weird. We have.
We've
Everybody
done it.
talked about short courses. Everybody talks about how you can't kill short courses, and
To,
you look. MMR has a big slash class, but they
Yeah.
don't really have a short course class.
No.
That's a spec slash class.
Yeah.
So that's more of a spec class.
And then the
and there's
open
something
short
to be
course,
said about that too. I
the
mean,
open
it's-
short course class is more of people that are hopped up slashes.
Yeah.
I think the slashes are going a lot faster than their open short course class.
Dude, the slashes, there's something to be said about buying a truck and racing it that day and being able to be competitive with it.
Yes.
So I think that's why that's doing well for Andrew. And it's easy, it's cheap. I think you can get a slash for like under $250 ready to go. You got to put batteries in the radio.
But if people were really going to be butthurt about a short course class not being here, you would see the turnout.
Yeah, I know.
And it's kind of
And
sad that there
what
hasn't been a
sucks-
turnout.
what
Because I
sucks
remember
is-
when you started, you didn't
Yeah.
want to run them.
I didn't.
And,
I still
and
kind
people
of.
bothered everybody to try and get you to run them, and here we are 2 years into it, and you
No
can't
one's
fill
running
an
it.
main.
Yeah, exactly. We've had a couple full mains here or there with either the Pro 2 or the Pro 4. But, like I said, maybe I'll run them all. Maybe I'll just have a short course class. Buggy, Pro 4, and Pro 2.
Just let them all run in the same class.
I've been doing it and it's been working.
Is there a way that you could put them up on the
I could
same
split 'em.
race and split?
I could
Yeah,
split
you
it.
can
Yeah.
split
Yeah.
the points and.
But something's got to happen there. And we were talking about that at the Torque meeting too with on-road, less classes. Because all of a sudden Torque wants to add a touring car. It's like, you're going to have 4 people and it's going to
They
take
already
some...
have a touring car?
It never works. It never works there, man. You know what's big in Torque? VTA, 12 scale, and Mini Cooper. And World GT is going to be okay this year.
Did they drop the off-road stuff finally?
No, we've been talking about that.
They got rid of the jumps though, didn't
No. I threw a hard argument, and I think I got a compromise out of the guys. Because they were setting up obstacle course. They were not setting up a racetrack.
No, I messed up with the groove too, and then
It
they
did.
ended up even sometimes they changed the layout even almost a little
Yeah.
bit. They started moving corners.
No, that was one person. That person's been talked to.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's one of those things, and it's like Andrew with his MMR program and added the 12 scale light.
Yep.
Why? I mean,
Well, I think
so
he's
everybody has.
dropping mod though.
Okay,
So-
that would make sense.
So it's to have an introductory class
Out of
and
VTA.
and more of a pro class.
Okay, if you add something, you got to drop something else.
And I think he's.
You can't just
I guess
add,
don't
add,
quote
add,
me
add.
on that, but I'm pretty sure he dropped mod
Yeah,
in order to do that because I thought I heard that him and Dan and all those guys were running stock this year.
yeah, but that's the thing. You just can't keep adding. It just doesn't work. It makes for a long race, Dave, to have A mains with 4 people in it. That sucks. I mean, it really does. It sucks.
Then when you need to spend another 5-10 minutes trying to find marshals for the next race.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the other thing I don't like actually about combining all those classes together and still allowing them to run is those people, if they didn't run that car,
Yeah.
would more than likely run another class.
Well, here's the deal too, though. I could kill Pro. I was thinking about absolutely killing Pro 4 because that's been 100% flop both years.
Yeah.
And combining Pro 2 and Pro Light together.
You know, and I'd be okay with that if you ran them on separate points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The thing is,
definitely.
Pro 2 is the buggy, right?
No, Pro 2 is the truck, Pro Light's the buggy.
Okay, so either way, we're talking one of them's a truck, one of them's
Yeah.
a buggy.
Yeah.
All right.
You'd have
So,
to separate the points, but
The thing I'm looking at is both of them are fairly popular nationwide. So at least you're allowing people to buy a car that's popular and run it.
Yeah.
my biggest class this year's been open stadium truck,
It has.
and I've been loving it. 4 mods been up there this year, which is awesome.
And if Losi ever finally releases that 4-wheel drive, maybe 4-wheeler will take off.
yeah.
A couple people might actually show up
well,
to the
no.
track once in a while.
4 mod is like a scale nitro buggy. It is a great series car to race. It's not a great club racer.
You can't go out and race it every single weekend.
I can, but that's the reason I can is because I have so much experience with it. I know how to build the diffs to last. I'm not building a diff every week like everybody else. I know how to
Unless they
set
throw
my
gear diffs in there.
gear diffs are so lame. Gear diff. I'm all for making things easier, but I don't care what anybody thinks. What they can do with the gear diff, you are never going to get a gear diff as good as a ball diff. Ever. I don't care what fluid you put in there, how much fluid you put in there. Gear diffs, you know what? If you're running a gear diff, you might as well just,
Why does it work in on-road then?
I don't know. Why does shaft drive work in off-road but not on-road?
Who said it didn't work with on-road?
The only thing it's ever worked with
I
was-
run shaft drive and on-road all the
The
time,
only-
and that car was one of the
That's
fastest cars out
VTA.
there.
That's VTA. I'm talking, the only shaft car I've seen work nationally was the TC3, and that was a design fluke. You know what I mean? And they tried improving on it with the TC4, and it took a crap.
But that wasn't the shaft drive's fault.
Yep, but everything successful lately in on-road has been built in the touring car. I mean, you can't argue with the X-Ray or Top.
Well, the new
or-
Losi's going to be belt drive.
Okay, well, let's talk about the new Losi 4-wheeler real quick. We saw a couple spy photos. Allegedly, somebody blew up something on the picture. The name they're playing around with now is the Losi, the TLR 24.
Okay.
I saw something with a blown up picture that said TLR 24.
Huh.
So that's, but right now this is all prototype.
Yeah, I would imagine as soon as the Worlds hits, we'll hear a little bit more about it.
It's an aluminum chassis.
If they were running it on that
Yep.
track, you have to imagine that's because they really want to have it ready
Yep.
to run at the Worlds.
Yep, I heard it looked really good, and I heard it sounded like a belt drive,
Yeah,
which is also awesome.
yeah.
But yeah, again, time will tell. I don't know if Live RC made up the story. They were packing up ready to leave when the Losi van came up. I think that might have been set up, but maybe
Sounds
not.
a little fishy.
Yeah, Yeah, it does. That's another quick thing I want to talk about. I hate to say it. The Worlds this year is going to be probably an All-American A main because they sugared the track at the Nationals this year.
Why would that make it an All-American though? I mean,
They've had so much practice on that track.
yeah, but everybody overseas runs on Astro and everything else. They're used to the high bite too. This isn't nothing
It's
new
still
for
different.
them.
It's just like
It's-
running that
yeah.
Wigloo. It was nothing like we ever ran on before.
Yeah. It's all, yeah, I don't know what sugars like to run on because nobody's done it here, which I'm kind of glad because of the tire wear. But,
Top 5's always been All-American anyways, hasn't it?
I mean, you'll get it.
For the most part.
Yeah, for the most part, you'll get a guy
In
there.
off-road.
In off, yeah, no, you'll get somebody in there. Like, I wonder who Hara's going to be running with. Hara is no longer hot bodies and all that anymore.
I'm just curious to see if AE wins with another car.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that's the
that-
only storyline I'm interested in.
yep, no, that's already been. It's not a story anymore. He's going to have a new car at the Worlds, probably 90% chance.
What do you mean? Probably they already have this. It's the C4.2 is what they're running.
Yeah, no, that's what they ran at the.
That's what they're gonna run at the
Nationals.
Worlds.
But that's what they ran at the Nationals
Well,
because their car wasn't ready.
You think so? They're
Yes.
reselling. Why would they resell the other one then?
I don't know, dude. Why would they keep coming out with? I mean, they.
I don't know. I'd have to lean towards they're just going to keep reselling the other
Also,
one.
here's
and sell
the
their
thing.
V4.
Here's the thing. A lot of people don't realize. The top drivers, the real top drivers, not just the regional top drivers, but the real top Worlds drivers, they're not running a kit car ever. Never, ever, ever. There's always some prototype part or numerous prototype parts. Who knows what they're going to be running? Really, they
Yeah.
don't run kit cars.
I kind of talked to somebody that was a sponsored driver down in Iowa.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he mentioned the same thing as he couldn't even copy the setups himself because
No.
he didn't have the prototypes
Yeah,
like that other
exactly.
people had. So his setup had to be different
Like
to
like
adjust for that.
like the setups they put online.
Yeah.
They have the prototype
Yeah.
parts on their cars. So if you put their setup on your car, it's gonna
You're
be able
wrecking
to
every
put it-
corner.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah, definitely.
listening to a pro's setup probably isn't it. You're almost better with a kit standard
Yeah.
setup and then
Yeah.
tweaking from there based on the local. You really want to watch what the local drivers are.
You know, exactly. You know what? I'll tell you what, with the B44.2, Marshall has helped me big time.
Yeah.
Because he's like, this is what I did and why. And he is still not that far off the kit setup. You know, a couple shock changes and a couple hole position changes. Nothing major.
You know, it kind of sucks I waited so long, but I finally gave in and tried some of the setup changes that other people have been running on their B4s all year.
Yeah.
And,
Like you did at Iowa?
instantly I was faster.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Yeah.
So changing the springs, and that was it. And instantly everything was better.
Dude,
Then were you
seriously.
also running the C hubs or the A hubs?
I went to
with-
A hubs because of the bumps.
The
Yeah.
8 towers, you mean?
The eight
Yeah.
towers with
Those are the taller ones?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I ran higher inside than you.
Yeah,
you
you
were
were at-
still running low inside.
I was at shaved. You were at 3.
I was
Okay.
at 3. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
That was the only difference I think between both of our cars.
Yep, yep. So that actually just covered our less classes in low Z 4-wheel topic that I want to talk about. I wanted to add both Torque and MMR have their on-road schedules set up. Check them out. Check out Torque's revised schedule because they were going to have their weekend race the same weekend at Chill on the Hill. And I went to the meeting. I'm like, yeah, I don't think you want to do that because there's a lot of both on and off-road guys.
Yeah. I don't know
Eh.
how many of them go to the chill, but yeah.
Well, that's the thing. In LSRCC is kind of like our sister club. You got to respect it.
that would be the nice thing is just to see some respect between the two clubs. But I don't know. Even in on-road, they run weekends
but
sometimes.
Brandon and Brian, you know what? It's out there, and I'm sorry, I'm not waiting for the forum anymore. Are going to try to run some kind of point series between 3 races between Torque, LSRCC, and Genesis. And the weekend race, Oktoberfest for Torque, is going to be the first race.
Yeah, I think there's still a lot of working and flexibility on that.
That's still a work in progress.
I think at this point there's still a lot up in the air on that.
Well,
but
I'll tell
it
you what.
sounds like it's possible there will be some sort of a race
Yeah.
for on road this year that's going to be like a series race between
yeah.
clubs.
Yeah, and that'll be awesome. But again, though, it's just one of those things. I'm glad Torque moved a weekend later after Chill. Actually, I would have gone to Chill over the Torque race because honestly, I've never been to Chill yet.
Yeah, I
all
actually
the
have
years-
to miss Chill this year, and I'm kind of disappointed in that because
Are you going to
it's
Chill,
one of my
Kyle?
favorite races.
I don't know yet. Probably not.
It's going to be a high turnout race.
It's one of my favorite races. I would go there in a heartbeat if I could, but
What is it?
I have a baptism to
the
go
very
to.
first weekend of October, like the 4th, 5th, and 6th or something like that.
It really is a fun race to go to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they call it the Chill for a reason. It could be 80 degrees the weekend before and 80 degrees the next weekend, but we're getting snow.
It does tend to be cold usually.
Yeah. So you said you had some about the 510.
Yeah, I called Sean this morning. I wanted to talk to him a little bit about some of the rumors that have been online lately and find out exactly what was going on. One of the things, he's definitely going to start racing October.
Cool.
So he said he's not going to have a big race till after the last Nitro Series race, but racing will be open in October, so you'll be able to show up, especially the guys that are looking to go to
Spectrum?
Wisconsin at the Spectrum race. You're going to probably want to get there, break in tires, things like that. It'll be open in October for you to be able to do that. The Spectrum is in November again this year, not December.
That's a bummer.
So, which is actually generally that's where they've always run it is in November.
Yeah. The couple of years they did in December, though, I really wanted to go, and that actually worked with my schedule. November, I'm still getting into the on-road groove, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still got to buy... I bought a World GT roller, and I still got to buy a 12-scale roller and fill them up with electronics.
Nice.
And I got to buy an RC10 to start testing for next year. So I got a lot to buy.
Yes, you do.
So
we talked through that. I
What
wanted to make
did
sure
you-
from a schedule standpoint, everybody understands racing's going to be ready in October.
Yep.
I know with everything ending outdoors, we want to.
Yep.
Everybody's looking to the next thing, so that would be it.
Yep.
We talked about dirt.
What did he talk? That's what
he-
my question was.
Number one thing, no matter what happens, there will not be any sauce allowed in his track in the winter.
Okay.
At all.
Can
No
we-
sauce.
Yeah, is it possible to pre-sauce and bag the
No.
night before? No.
He said if you were caught pre-saucing and showing up with tires that are sauced,
Yep.
you're going to get, he has some sort of penalty thing worked out, and
Yep.
you're going to have to put new tires on the car.
Rock on.
So there is no sauce for anyone.
Okay.
He says he's going to enforce it. He said he can enforce it, and he will.
Well, you can feel the difference between a sauce tire and a
He
non-sauce
has told
tire.
me that he can tell the difference.
Oh, dude, it's
and he's
even
told
with
me,
green.
Yep, he said basically if you put a new set of tires on and you're not just as fast as you were with those other set, you're going to get penalized for running sauce tires.
Yep.
So there, no matter what happens, I think that's a big thing to touch on because I know there was a lot of down
Dude, that
atmosphere based on the fact of the diesel. I know the
Yeah.
big races, when we got the big races going in there and everybody started doing the diesel, people, I know I got headaches pretty bad.
that doesn't smells like that. Do not bother me. I don't know if it's because, but it does. Does bother a lot of people, and some people are saying, "Hey, if he allows diesel again, I might not go back."
So plain and simple, no diesel.
Yeah.
I think that's good. Everybody's going to be running with the same type of deal.
Cool.
The idea behind this, though, is that he's going to somehow treat the track.
Yep.
He is either going to rhino snot it, which people have looked into. It's basically something like the Air Force uses for out in the desert.
We're
basically,
already
to try
familiar
and-
with the
Yeah, you're
rhino
trying to hold the dirt together, basically,
Yep.
or bind it together.
Yep.
The other option is to do sugar. He says it's worked sometimes, it hasn't worked others. He might not have been using it enough.
He's tried soda, the small track, and water worked better than soda. We found out.
Yeah, so plain and simple, he's going to do something to it.
Yeah.
The third option is he is pricing out the price for new clay.
Okay.
He was talking to somebody today about it. I wouldn't blame him for not getting it. In the end, before we started dieseling the tires last
Yeah.
year, the tire wear was really good.
It was.
And to deal with a track that maybe isn't quite as fast as it would have been with Sauce is one thing.
Yeah.
But then you're tuning for it. The key is there's a rule.
The thing about it is it took Sean a little bit too to figure out the silting.
Exactly.
Once he figured that out, I don't think we really needed the diesel tires.
But in the end, he's going to treat the track, not the tires.
Yep.
So you're not allowed to treat your tires.
I like it. I really
So,
like it.
I think it's a good deal. Would I be excited if he got new clay?
Yeah.
Well, everybody always hears about these clay tracks across the country. Yeah, everybody's going to be excited about that. But I think the black dirt in the end is very usable, and I wouldn't be disappointed to show up as long as there's no diesel. I think the no sauce rule and to enforce it is huge.
Okay.
So I think that's something everybody should be excited about for the winter racing. It's going to start up in October, and he'll probably have a big race in November.
There's something to be said about mounting up a set of tires at the track and them working.
Yeah. Yeah, and we may see that. Maybe the barcode isn't exactly the tire to go. Maybe you're back
If
to
it
those.
clays.
Well, the clay would be nice.
Here's the
But
deal.
we don't know what he's going to do there.
Okay. Minnesota has really, as far as I can remember, has only had really one proper clay track. Indoor, I should say. Indoor clay. And that was before TCHR became TCHR. It was Midwest Hobbies when it was in a mall. You were going through, we were running M2 and M3 tires. We were leaving a really dark groove, but man, you had to get them bald, but it worked. The only problem we were dealing with was hub bearings.
Yeah.
Hub bearings left and right because you're getting so much grip and getting so much lean there, popping. But
It's going to be exciting either way.
Yeah.
We'll have better tire wear. We're going to have, probably a better atmosphere without the diesel
Yep.
and the other smells.
I always enjoy the 510.
Yeah, so it's exciting to hear Sean's getting things ready for the winter.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's talk about the next Super Saturday Electric Series race. And again, we've talked about this in the last podcast, but that was quite a while ago. I want to kind of refresh everybody's memory on this. It's going to be at Wheel Brokers. There's information on the Super Saturday Electric Series Facebook page, RC Tech, the Minnesota Nitro Series page, LSRCC, all over the place. If you can't find the info, you're not looking hard enough. I'd like to remind everybody, no monster trucks or ace scales. Parking at Wheel Brokers. Park at the shopping center by the A&W or whatever. Leave the parking lot open for tents and whatnot, because I think it is going to be a high volume, high entry race.
Very good turnout.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see a good turnout. But Greg can't go.
If I can, I'll show up for
Yeah.
the mains, but 3M goes live that day.
Nope,
so-
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. So I already found a photographer to replace
You
Jay.
did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bullet's going to do the pictures.
All right.
He's actually excited to do them. I think he really likes doing the pictures because he does it all for Duluth too.
Yeah. Oh, he's always been big into the camera stuff.
Yeah, but I'm really excited to see what happens, and I got a lot to think about for next year for class structure. Every year has been a growing year, but it's been getting better and better.
How many battles do we have going into the end?
Oh, we got a few. Hold on, pull up points real quick. Sorry. Yeah, we got battles because the winner of everyone who points, the winner of each class who points out correctly with 5 wins, I will pay for their first entry all next year. Pro 2 and Pro 4 are already basically whatever, already decided. I don't think Senior can win stock buggy because if you look at it, Senior
I'm
really
pretty
has,
sure he can.
has a 6-point lead over
'Cause
you.
even
Or
with
you
my
got
drops.
a 6-point. Yeah. Here, scroll down because with your drops right now, you're 10 points. Go down, 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 down
I'm going
to the bottom. There we go. Yeah, so, I gotta get another new monitor for my series. Mine got a line in it.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
You had some great luck there.
Yeah, well, the kids were touching it. So I think that, but whatever, it is a cheap monitor too.
So Sportsman,
no one's
nobody's
pointing
there.
out, which bums me out, really. Go up, there we go, Blinky stock, yeah, you basically got it. Seniors. and
Even if
s-
Senior gets a 101,
Well, if
I
you
mean,
look,
he's only going to gain 3 points.
well, hold on, let me think about this for a second.
He
Yeah.
replaces 94, but
Yep, you're right. I think you got stock buggy locked.
well, no. If he replaces his 94 with a 101, that'd give him
It's possible.
7 points.
'Cause Kyle's
wouldn't
only signed up for mod.
it? Well, no, that's
I've only
7.
had
I'm
3.
still. I'm up by 10, so I still.
Well,
win
we'll
by
see.
3.
You're up by 10 now, but if you take away your
Yeah.
drops, 490 was
Why
it?
would it matter?
Oh
Why would
yeah.
you take away my drops?
Never mind. Well, because that's what you're gonna finish out with 496 if you don't show up.
Yeah, and
He could take it.
Senior could. No, senior could get possibly. I don't know.
because he's
He
going to
could
drop
get-
his
he could get
94 with a
497.
101. He would
Could he
get
get
7 points.
497?
Yeah, he could get 497.
Yeah, senior could get 490. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
So do you want me to race that class, Greg?
I'm going to let you call that. I'm not. If Senior can get it, he can get it.
Yeah. Scroll.
I'm surprised.
I
That,
would like either of
I
you
don't
to win it.
understand. I don't understand how he could though, because in the end, I've got
yeah.
2 101s, and my lowest race
You're
is
at
a
496. You're at 496. If he can get,
How would he beat me with less?
oh, you're right. Let's
don't
see. He's at
understand
390. If he does 101, he could only get 491. So yes, you basically got buggy locked. So
Yeah.
let's go down. Pro 4 Tim Brown's got that locked up. Mod Buggy. Let's talk about Mod Buggy for a second. Where is it? Craig Kruger's your leader. But Neil Fenice is right behind him. I don't know if Craig or Neil are going. I heard Chad's not.
Really?
Yeah.
Which I don't know, whatever. You know, technically John Weeda could win it all, sitting in third.
If he won that race,
Oh, I don't think Neil or Craig have the drop. So if Neil or Craig
no. Craig doesn't have any drops, so his points have to count.
Yeah, so if he shows up, you know, and if Neil shows up, you're still going to have a battle for two-wheel mod. But if they don't show up, Weeda could take it.
Could he take it even if they do show up?
He could take it even if they don't. I mean, there's only a point difference between Weeda and Fenice, and 5 points between the top 3.
So they
something
have
could-
to race.
They have to. Weeda's the only one who has enough that he doesn't. Pro
Yeah.
2, Hutner got that. So we got a good two-wheel mod battle going on there.
Nice.
Where's Mod Truck? Yeah, just ignore that. Chad Lindahl, he doesn't have any throwouts, so Neil Fenice moves into the lead of Mod Truck if Chad doesn't show up. And then Marshall's right
Marshall's
there.
right there with him.
Marshall's
so-
right there, and Marshall has a throwout. Neil doesn't have it. If Neil doesn't show up, Marshall could win it.
And Craig's really only
Craig-
4 points back
Craig could win it too.
if
Yeah.
Chad doesn't show up.
Yeah, Craig could win it too. Weeda and
That'd be
Kyle
a
here
stretch.
both have an outside chance. There's an outside chance, but Kyle or Weeda could win it, so we got good battle for Stadium Truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Ignore the Pro 2. Hutner already won that. Ignore all that slash crap. That's where I put all the junk. Four-wheel open buggy. Yeah, that's interesting. Because right now we got Clayton Cartluca in the lead with 396. Hutner with 394. Senior with 393. Scary with 391. So, yeah. And then it drops off to me and Josh Sinclair, but the top 4 is still really close.
So if Scary shows up and has a good run, though, he
Yes.
could jump 16 points.
He could. Yeah, he could.
Which would put him in the
Up
lead.
there. But, I don't know. What if he doesn't have a good run?
If
What if it rains?
Yeah.
well, he had the
But-
185, and I think that
Yeah.
was Duluth when he showed up and only ran the one time or
Yeah,
something. and
well,
broke
he
out,
had
or-
Duluth and then North Branch
North
or
Branch.
whatever happened
So
there.
he did have an 85.
Oh, one thing
Yeah.
about our race. If it rains on Saturday, Jimmy says we could do a makeup on Sunday.
Yeah, I could make that.
Yeah, so if it rains on Saturday.
Do I do my rain dance?
Please don't. Please don't.
Make everybody else mad. Oh. But if
Yeah.
I do the rain dance, then it won't rain.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's
Ugh.
really good battle going on for four-wheel mod, too.
Yeah, it looks like that's all really close.
Yeah, and a severe drop-off to both me and Sinclair, because, dude, breakages, I would have been up there, too. I'm just as fast as my old man. He's just way more consistent. I actually beat the old man at the fair race.
Yeah?
Real good battle with him.
Well, maybe he'll work on his stuff before the next race, because it looked a little rough.
He needs a new car. That car's 3 or 4 years old.
I just think it needs some setup work.
No, new car.
Yeah.
New car, that's it. I think the only way he'll get one is if I buy it for him.
No, maybe you gotta give him your B44.
Well, the thing about it is, he doesn't like... Okay, he likes the Kyosho. The Kyosho and the Associateds are just as fast. They drive way different, though. The
I don't think
Kyosho...
there's anything wrong with this car.
I do. I've driven it. It's easy to drive, but it's not fast.
Hmm.
Okay? You don't have the aggressiveness. The B44 drives like a four-wheeler. The Kyosho drives like a two-wheeler with front wheel pull when you're coming out of the corners. So they're equally fast, but there's two different driving styles. I did some points too. I was just screwing around last night, and they really mean nothing. Did you see the points I posted?
I saw you post that.
Yeah, it really means nothing. What I've done is, I took all the results throughout the year, and I made a point, just for whatever. And I took the top finisher of each manufacturer, and I came up with some points. Like AE is winning the points battle in all of them, but AE's winning Mod Truck 57-50 from Lowe's, and then Mod Buggy AE's winning 58-53. Four Wheel Open AE's winning 57-50 to Kyosho. Kyosho's had a couple wins, but AE's been more solid with the finishes. And Stock Buggy, it's just AE. So, I mean, I just did it literally out of boredom, but I thought it was kind of cool to see something different, One more thing, since we might have a minute or two. I kind of wanted to pass on Jim Dieter's tip of the week. Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
For Trinity?
Yeah, I saw that earlier today.
Jim Dieter, I don't know, I think it's Dieter. He's Mr. Motor, man. And he talks about the timing on the brushless motors. He says, always check your motor temp. Timing is like a cliff that you can plunge your motor into the depths of hell. That's his words. If you step over the edge, the tendency of most racers is to advance more as the car runs faster. If the change is not noticed on the timing, don't keep going on it. Okay? Change your gearing. That's basically what he says. He says,
So does he mean if it's not noticed in your hand, or if it's not noticed on the track?
if it's not noticed on the track. Because it's like the timing of a gas motor. You don't want your motor to fire too soon. You're going to pop it. So
he doesn't think I should just max my timing and then gear appropriately?
No, he thinks you should work your timing with your gearing. He thinks timing's a good thing, but you can...
Where are you reading these from?
It's on Trinity's website.
Yeah, Trinity's website.
You read Trinity's website?
No, I'm friends with Ernest Prevetti on Facebook, and he posted it.
Ah.
I literally just look on Facebook now for all the RC info.
You're on there quite a bit.
No, my phone's on there
You
quite a bit.
are
I'm
on Facebook quite a bit. I have to add
all right, yeah. I'm on there. Whatever.
Although Kyle, you were on that quite a bit too, especially all weekend racing.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to do.
You're sitting there for
sitting
3
there
hours
playing
at a
with your
time.
phone. I forgot my charger on the way down there.
You gotta
Yeah.
use mine.
I had to use his. He's got a spare charger in
Yep.
his RC stuff.
Hey,
Why
good
not?
call.
Oh.
So yeah, but yeah, we should end it. I mean, that's all we got for now. So
Well, like, we got the last race coming up, and everybody
Yeah.
getting ready for the winter season.
Yep, and then we got Chill on the Hill for October 4th, 5th, and 6th. I mean, great off-road race for both nitro and electric. Don't miss it. I can't wait to use my pop-up up there. Sleeping in the booth was okay, but I think a pop-up will be better.
I think everybody needs to congratulate Kyle for his
Yeah, good job,
TQ
Kyle.
run down there
Thank
with
you.
some pretty good competition.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. I mean, that's stock buggy, man. That just looks like a lot of fun.
It was, and
That's all. Okay, I love watching mod buggy and I love announcing mod buggy. I hate driving it.
yeah.
I hate it. But stock buggy's the only time I like driving a two-wheel buggy.
It's really neat to see at a big race like that, especially when you have double the entries in stock that you do in mod.
Definitely.
Mod wasn't faster than stock either.
No. Well, that's the way this. I mean, with brushless motors nowadays, mod is not a necessary commodity anymore.
No.
I almost want to. I like mod truck too much to promote a stock truck class in my series, and I don't think a stock truck class would take off in my series. But I would welcome it if we got. But I don't think we'd get enough. But also, again though, trucks can handle a mod motor way better than a buggy.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's send it. And there's a lot of stuff to be looking at the forum boards for. Keep your eyes out for Pro Karts, my last Super Saturday race of the series, Torque, MMR, Duluth coming out with their on-road schedule soon. Brandon's coming out with his on-road schedule for Genesis. I am making the 3-hour trip.
An exciting race.
Even for his weekend races.
I think it's probably the same weekend as the Spectrum, but
Yeah, but no, for Brandon's, even for a club race, I'm going to be going to Brandon's. I'm going to try at least once a month. I mean, have you seen his facility, like pictures of it?
it looks phenomenal.
Dude, it's pimp. It's worth the drive.
It looks pretty nice.
Yeah, so you got to do something. So, all right, let's end this. I'm your co-host Joe Zer Jr. with Greg Gerton and Kyle Holmberg sitting in. It was fun having you, Kyle. Hopefully we'll have you again.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, hopefully when Marshall gets back from Germany, I'll have some fun stories. Actually, I wanted Marshall to sit in because he had some. I wanted to talk to him how the remote
With
from the
with
Nats
the
worked, because he
Nationals.
was
Yeah.
announcing from Green Bay out to California. But yeah, we'll talk to him about that next time if he does it next time. So stay tuned, and we've run out of talent for the night.
All right, later.
Later.